This is our setup for our new game. We have 3 experienced players, one playing the French, one playing the English, the same one that came into our beginners game playing English, and one playing Austria now. The same player as Russia. The Austrian player we used to have is now playing Spain. We have the same Prussian player, and I am now playing Turkey. So far, in a matter of 2 months, I've gone from England, France, Austria to Turkey. Playing by mail is really great, in my opinion, the diplomacy that goes around. But the setups, the French, nice setup. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 core up there, 3 core here, and 4 core right here. And he's set up last. And you notice Napoleon and a couple of other generals are not on the board. So during the reinforcement phase, he's able to put them where he wants to attack. It kind of still throws the enemy for a loop. I like it. There's no pre-war decorations. So not sure what he's going to or what he's going to do, but that's a good strategy. And instead of putting a bunch of garrisons right now, he put a core where each fleet was based. And then he spread out his fleets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all in different ports, which is cool. He made the British spread out, and I think because they were spread out, the British was forced to blockade them because he can't control them all. And then the British left one fleet right here with these 2 core. Now we don't know what core they are. I don't know what core he put there. We only know what strength they are. And I have a feeling it's the 2nd and 3rd core. He has 10 men in that and 3 in that. Because from Gibraltar, he can always move that 3rd core back up to England. And then, or this way. He has 1 depot in London, 1 depot in Gibraltar. And then the 6th fleet only has 1 ship in it. So as long as these stay blockaded, he doesn't have to worry about it. It looks like he made a deal with the Spanish. The Spanish are going to march into Morocco, and they're going to trade Morocco for Portugal. The English will let them have Portugal. The Spanish are going to give them Morocco. So I don't like that. I mean, Thomas is his name, and I already see him operate as the English a little bit already, and he's been helping us out a lot, and he's a real good player. To give him that much power, even that in the beginning is crazy, but I have a feeling he's also able to take Algeria, and I think he alluded, believe me, we've been talking so much. I've been talking to the French, the British, and the Spanish mainly. Very little to the Russian. Just, me and Russia basically get to the point, look, are we fighting? And the same with Austria. It was very little to the point. I haven't even talked to the Prussians. It was mainly the French, British, and the English. And I believe they alluded to the English wanted Algeria. So what I think is happening is Morocco will be handed to the British. The British are going to take Algeria. And the Russians, who set up right here, are going to take Tripoli and give it to the British. And for that, the British are going to allow the Russians to have Sweden. There's some fairly good trades here. Right now, it seems like to me there's an alliance of Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia. Spain staying neutral. The French, as far as I know, don't have anybody allied with yet. And I'm on good terms with the French. I'm on better terms with the French than I am the English. But it's only because me as Turkey, again, I don't know all the experience here, but the French really don't threaten me a lot, so they're safe. It's the British and the Spanish that threaten me. Well, I've already worked out a deal with the Spanish, so I have the Spanish is happy just doing little things, and he doesn't really think long term. He thinks short term stuff. So I'll deal with the Spanish as we go, but we're going to start with an alliance, so that helps me. And then, now when I set up my army, I set up 2nd. And I put both my fleets right here. The English start telling me, why did I do that? I mean, and I know putting them in this port was going to be risky. But I thought to myself, because I wanted both of my corps to land in Tunis. And that's why, and that's the only port I can have reach it. Smyrna wouldn't do it, because if I have two fleets stacked together and I'm carrying the corps, I'm reduced to a movement of 5, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It just didn't reach. And so I was shooting for this area. And I talked in English enough where I didn't think he would mess with me, but then I'd start hearing through the grapevine and through him that, yeah, he thought that was pretty weak, me putting the ships there. And I told him, I said, why would you risk, spending 3 political points to sink some Turkish ships that really, I told him, was my weakest part of my army, and you're going to throw me right into the camp of the French. And I said, then I'm going to help the French defeat the Austrians as quickly as he can. And then, the French are going to get their cycle going, defeat one, then the other. So I don't think the British like that. And he did ask me a pointed question after that. He said, am I starting a war with somebody right away? And I told him no. That ain't my intention, because I've talked to the Russians and the Austrians. So we did go back and forth. I started threatening that I didn't want him to have Algeria, so we were going back and forth. But when the naval setup came, the Russians put their fleets down, and then I decided to take the English advice and move one of these to Constantinople, just in case I felt that if the English felt threatened enough that there was this huge ship coalition against them, he might try to take out my ship. So I moved it over. So now I can't reach Tunis with a corps there. I can only reach it with one of those, which is fine. It's not that big of a deal. And then I think I did screw up on my setup a little bit. I only put the Syrians here to come into Egypt. And now I wish I would have put more feudal corps down here, and I didn't do it. So, but other than that, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem for me still. I'm just hoping, the British they have an even chance of getting Egypt just like the French do and anybody else. So I'm hoping the French can actually get Egypt or Tunisia for me, and then, let me have it. So that's my bid on that. So that's what the alliance looking for right now. I believe since the Austrians, I like the Austrian setup. He split up his corps here. He put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there, and then 4 down here. So in essence, he put 2 forces, which I think made the French split up his. And then the Prussians went with them. So there's what, 3, 4, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 11 corps right here that are going to potentially stack together against the French. Pretty good. I don't think Russians going to do much. I mean, there's 3 corps that could come in to help, 3 more from the Russians, and I think he has all that up there. Could be pretty tough. So it's pretty interesting here. I can't wait to see what the French player does and how we go about it. But it is winter turn. I don't expect too much on the first turn except for these minor countries. But I just hope I'm able to get Egypt, Tunisia, and Cyrenaica, whichever one of these that Russian player doesn't land on. So we'll see. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm not afraid to go to war with Austria. I am a little bit, but I'm not afraid to go to war with the Russians. The French player, I think has some good ideas of where he can go and what he can do. And I can't wait to see it. I'd like to see it. So, anyways, that's as far as I know what's going on with the alliance. And I think Spain was promised some Italian nations, or told that they're allowed to go into Italy. But with the Austrians there, that could be problematic. Another thing I would have liked, that I would have hoped I'd done, is like I seen the British player, he kept the other corps, all 3 of his corps, off the board. In other words, they're ready to be put on in the you're allowed to have your corps basically bought, and since the game starts, you're allowed to have them. but you don't have to put them on the board right away. So I wish I would have done that with my Turkish cores for this. I just wasn't really aware that I was allowed to start like that, and I forgot to ask. But anyways, I don't see it's going to be a big issue right now.